now that we have our interface set up and we're implementing the contract for our health and damage, let's go ahead and get this working to where we can detect and call this damage function. To do this, we're only going to be focusing on our skeleton for now. That's all we want to focus on. Let's focus on one individual enemy, and then we can carry over the logic to the rest. So for this enemy, I just want to be able to call the damage function on the enemy. So to do that, we're going to open up our skeleton, and inside the damage function, let's call debug.log damage. All right, so that way we know that the damage was called. We'll save this, and inside our attack script, which is our sword basically, we need to say, hey, call that damage function. But how do we do that? Well, the object we hit is stored in other. And what we're going to do now is we're going to check to see if it has the interface iDamageable implemented. And if it does, then that program is going to know how it should be damaged. So here we're going to say debug.log hit other. We can print out whatever we hit. And below this, we're going to say interface. We're checking for an iDamageable here. We're checking for an iDamageable. We're going to say, we'll say other, or we'll say the target we hit basically, right? We're going to say iDamageable hit equals the other object that we hit, and we want to grab that component. So we're going to say other.getComponent, and we want to check, do they have the iDamageable interface? So here, iDamageable, and that's it. If they have the iDamageable interface, it's going to be stored in hit. So what did our sword hit? It's going to be stored right here. And if it hits something, what we can then do is call the hit.damage. We can then check to see if it's null first. Did we hit something with that interface? So if hit is not equal to null, meaning we hit something with that interface applied, we can then type hit.damage. And it's going to call the interface method that was implemented on anyone who implements the interface. If we save this and test it out, we can now run our game and go up to our skeleton, and it's going to hit it. Its damage method should be called. Let's walk up. So here we are. I'm going to hit it. And you'll see here that we hit the skeleton, and then the damage method was called. And that's right there is the power of interfaces. Our damage system is fully working, and our player, our attack script, has no clue who it hit. All it knows is that, hey, whatever I just hit can be damaged. So imagine you could have 50 enemies, you could have 50 items that you can destroy and obstacles that you can break down, and you no longer need to filter what it is you're hitting. The player, the sword, doesn't care what it hit. It just knows, hey, I just hit something, and I'm going to call the damage function on that object, and we can then implement individually the behavior on how that object should be destroyed. So now that we have that working, in the next video, we're going to set up the rest of our damage method. I'll see you then.